We are on live on Facebook as well. Okay, great, wonderful. Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. MZ Anna. Santa Anna in the house. Ooh, ooh, I love it. Let me see. Okay, perfect. Can anybody, I don't know if Facebook, if we're on, we should be on. So, we're having some difficulties today. All right, Lancaster in the house. What's up? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, great. Nancy's balloon decor. Hello, beautiful. Okay, perfect. I'll have you guys on here. East LA, what's up? Every time I think of East LA, I think of food. I might just be hungry today. All right, who else is on here? Let me see. Francis Aparicio. Okay, beautiful, great. I just wanted to make sure that Wealthy Wednesday was on and cracking. Whittier, what's up? Whittier in the house. Wonderful, thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to Wealthy Wednesdays. I am always excited to just create, right? And create and just excited to continue to create with you, I should say. So if it's your first time, I would love to know if this is your first time. If it's not your first time, welcome again. And if it's your first time again, the goal is that it's not your last. For those that don't know what Wealthy Wednesday is, we come together every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and we talk about different topics that we can continue to support one another or maybe empower one another. I actually want to do a shout out to, it didn't say who, but one of you guys, okay, I closed the door, but my husband left it open, so Marley's probably going to bark. Side note. One of you guys actually shared with me that you guys wanted me to talk about how young people making money, like my thoughts about that. So I just wanted to say thank you for the inquiry. I really appreciate it, only because in September we've been doing a series on life insurance awareness and why it's so important to have the life insurance. So we actually broke it down this month in breaking it down in like what is life insurance and so forth. So come the end of September, we'll talk about a new topic. And just so that you guys know, this is not just about life insurance. I know I focused a lot on life insurance, but because it's Life Insurance Awareness Month in the month of September. And there are a lot of misconceptions about life insurance that I think is really important for you guys to ask. Mind you, because we are in a general form, we are in social media platforms, I can be specific and I can be like, well, this happened, this is the way it works, because everybody's different. And I don't want you to be like, well, Eva Macias told me, so therefore, you know, all of a sudden I'm liable for that. So again, this is a more general scope, and just know that even though it's a general scope, that it is so important that you guys connect with me. One thing I got to make clear about my services, I own Eva Macias and Associates Financial and Insurance Services, and I'm actually also the author of A Latina's Guide to Money. And also, just so that you guys know, I do meet one-on-one with people, and it is really important that you guys know that my consultations are free. I constantly get messages on Facebook that one day I'll see you when I can afford you. Well, you cannot afford not to come see me, especially because it is a free service. So just so that you guys know, it's a consultation to get to know you guys, to know if it even makes sense for us to work together, because there are some clients that I can't work with because there's nothing I can do for you, okay? But if I can and I have resources that would support you, I will send you all those resources that I could support you with, all right? So let's get started with the topic. It's already, I think, 7:05. So again, please put what city you're tuning in from, and if it's your first time, because I always love to know. And I love all the love, thank you. And I see a lot of familiar faces, but today I'm gonna keep it pretty short and sweet, because if not, I can go on forever and have a lot of my squirrel moments, as my best friend tells me, as I just saw her jump on. But we're gonna talk about who is life insurance for, and as I continue to see you guys, thank you. And if any of this information resonates, you're like, yeah, this totally makes sense, please let me know. So Downey, NoHo, Hacienda Heights, NoHo is North Hollywood, I love it. Paramount in the house, I love it. So thank you guys. I still want Englewood. Like, I love knowing where you guys are tuning in, listening from. And then I have no idea what just happened here. Okay, what is going on? My computer today, guys, I've been tested in so many different ways. Today is where I pray that I have patience with myself. I know it sounds really crazy, but that's just the truth. Okay, what is going on? All right. Okay, Pacoima, as you guys are posting on there, I just want to go back on here because I don't know what is going on with my stuff. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So today's topic is, when should you get life insurance? Well, I had a young girl today. She's 20 years old, come into my office. She's a student. She makes very little money, and she's like, I want to invest. Okay. She's 20 years old. My youngest client was actually my niece, and she was 19 years old. So when should you get life insurance? It comes down to, as quickly as possible. If you are 19, 20 years old and you can be able to get a policy, see, life insurance is based on age and health. So if you're the youngest, if you are the healthiest today, right? Because we don't know what tomorrow brings. We could be healthy today. I personally had a health scare recently, and I won't talk about that. I'll talk about that at a different time, but that really, got my eyes to open up on a few things. So I invite you to know that if you're healthy, and I get it, we do have sometimes a little cholesterol, a little high blood pressure, all that stuff. Just know, not that I'm saying that that's common and that's normal, but insurance companies take those things into consideration. If they're controlled and if they've been controlled, they might be able to insure you. Most of the time they do, unless it's severe. Like one of the people that I can tell you that, one of the cases that it's really difficult is if you're diabetic and you're an insulin taker. That's very difficult to insure. But if you're healthy, most likely you will go ahead and pay the least amount of premium. Premium is the monthly contribution, how much you pay every single month. So the goal in life insurance is to pay the least amount of money for the most amount of premium, right? So for example, would you rather pay $20 for $500,000 in coverage, or would you rather pay $50 for $500,000 in coverage? The $20. So the quicker you actually get into it, the better. So if I have young people on here, don't ever have this misconception that, oh, I'm too young for this, or I don't have financial responsibilities. Like, no, because in the future you will. I remember there was a client who was like, I've been wanting to get $1 million of life insurance. And I'm like, why? You don't need $1 million. Based on your goals, what's going to happen in the next 4 to 5 years, based on your lifestyle, this is what the amount should look like. And she's like, oh, okay, that we were saving her at least maybe $30 a month. So could she have gotten $1 million life insurance policy? Of course. She was healthy. She was young. Also, this is, if we have some men out there, if you're a man out there listening, say yes. Let me know that there's men listening to this. So for example, I don't know who Pink Sugar Buzz is. I don't know if that's a guy or a girl. I have to look at the picture. But women are a little bit less inexpensive to insure than men. Men are actually a little bit more expensive to insure. And why is that? Because statistically, men tend to pass before us. Now, full disclosure, fine print, can we die, ladies? Yes. Again, death doesn't discriminate on age, gender, anything. When it's your time, it's your time. But just generally and statistically speaking, and by the actuaries that have already done the work, men have a higher probability of dying sooner. And so because of that, it is really important that you understand that that's why the cost of insurance for men tends to be a little bit higher. Okay. Let's just say, and I'm going to throw this out there, if you know of someone who's had cancer, you think that they brought cancer upon their life, in the sense that you think one day they woke up and said, oh yeah, today I want to get cancer. No, of course not. So this is why it's so important, especially because now cancer is like the common flu, which is horrible to say that, but now someone more often that dies from cancer than probably the flu. And why I share this with you is because there's writers, there's so much other stuff in a life insurance policy that can take care of you while you're alive. They're called living benefits. And so it's so important that you guys understand life insurance is not your old school back in the day, you die and that's it. You'll never see money. There's so many different plans out there depending. Remember, we've had an evolution of life insurances. Like we have term ROP, we have final expense, we have permanent policies, whole life policies, we have variable policies, we have index policies. You know, we have so many different policies, and within those policies are even more, other benefits in them, you know, from making sure that your kids get covered, to making sure that your spouse gets covered, to making sure that maybe you had $500,000 of coverage today, but in 5 years you may want $750,000, to permanent policies. So if you're a 20-year-old and you're like, I'm in excellent health, I'll give you, yes, ayuda en español says options, absolutely. And I'll give you an example. I wanted to get life insurance early on, as I had mentioned in the previous Wealthy Wednesdays, in my early 20s. And I didn't. I wish I would have. But I didn't get my life insurance until I was like 27. And, you know, I sold it to myself. And I was 27 years old, excellent health, the best of the best. So when I assessed my situation, I said, you know, I want X amount of coverage. And I justified why I can have the amount of coverage that I have. And so in that process, along the way, as I've gotten a little bit older, I've realized, you know what, that policy is not going to cover me for the rest of my life. So let me go ahead and get a policy right now as I'm younger to cover me for the rest of my life. Okay, there's mixed opinions on should you get a policy if you're going to pay more. I've read it on this book, but that's not good. I continue to say this. Let's just say you get let's just say a term policy runs you $20, okay? And the term means 10, 20, 30 years, it lapses, it's gone after that. If you didn't pass away, it's done. But let's just suppose that you got a permanent policy that covers you all the way up until the age of 100 or 120, because yes, they do exist. And even though you may think that we're not living longer, we are, because of technology and medicine. Also, true story, I have an aunt who will be celebrating, God willing, her 100th birthday on November 4th, I believe is her birthday. So she will be 100 years old. 100 years old. So it's very common. Just because we may not have it in our families doesn't mean that we won't live that long, right? So if I tell you, well, you might live till you're 100, you may not believe it. But the best thing is that you're going to have coverage all the way up until you're 100, right? Now, another thing is this. Let's just say a term policy costs you $25 and a permanent policy costs you $100. Okay, you know that extra $75. You're like, yeah, but why pay the extra $75? Now, let me tell you this. Along the way, if you knew you were going to be in perfect health, then I would say, since you're always going to be in perfect health, who cares? Just keep buying term policies until, you know, you don't need it, or until you're good. The problem is that along the way in people's lifespans, the risk of your health can completely change everything. As I've shared before, I've had a young woman in her mid-30s suffer from, you know, strokes, heart attacks, cancer, for like so many different things. So I invite you to, if you are in good health, okay, if you're in good health, there we go. If you're in good health and you're young, now get it now. I can help you with that. You're more than welcome to reach out to me, set up an appointment. We're booking appointments until October, by the way, so October 8th and beyond. Also, if you're thinking, oh, I'm too old, I think somebody posted on there, oh, I think I'm too old. I'm already over 40. First of all, 40s is not old. Okay, I have clients in their 70s, 80s, and they have so much life still ahead of them. So there's no such thing as too old. Now, life insurances do have, depending on the type of life insurance, they do say, you know what, if you've already reached this age, you can no longer get coverage because you're closer to your end of life. And so all of these things, I know they're really uncomfortable to talk about, but if we don't talk about them, then we can't continue to get our little wheels turning and saying, how does that apply to me? You know, how does that apply to me? Can you get a family discount? I'm going to answer no in a very general form because everything's customized. So it's not like, oh, you buy one, get the next one free, or buy one, get the other one 50%. But there are, that's a great question, by the way. But There are things that you can do, like, for example, I can get a life insurance policy, and my life insurance policy, I could still be able to cover my kids within my life insurance policy. So that gets a little bit more specific, and I can talk to you guys about that a little bit more, but you got to come see me one-on-one, because like I said, it's very customized to your needs. Roberta says, hashtag real talk. Yes, this is real talk. Like, this is the stuff that we haven't been talking about. And because we don't talk about it, then we end up with shitty, like, transfers of wealth from nothing. We transfer debt instead of, you know, a possible life insurance policy that could take care of your kids' college education, you know, you having a roof over your head, and so many different things. Do you have clients in the East Coast? I do have clients in the East Coast. I met them here in California. Send me a message and we'll talk a little bit more. So I have clients in Texas. I have clients in New York. I have clients in New Jersey. I have different clients, but I specialize in California. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So that's why it's so important that, so when should you get it? As quickly as possible. This is the one question that I always ask people. This is your exchange. You get the most inexpensive policy for a fixed period of time, or you may be able to get less coverage for a longer period of time. That's a conversation that I can have with you and show you numbers based on your age, based on your health, because there's different tiers in health. I've had people who are not in the best health and they still get insured. So, and they're paying a little bit more because you're going to pay the price one way or another. You're already paying the price with your health. And second, you have a higher risk. Remember, life insurance is also a risk. It's how long will you live. So as I've shared with you, as I've shared with all of you, the sooner you get it, the better. I completely wish I would have known about life insurance in my early 20s, like very early. And the reason why is because, let's just say I'm 20 years old, I buy a 30-year policy, I'm in 50. 50 is still young. 50, you're still able to get very reasonable rates. I can tell you this because I have a lot of clients. And so they renew their policy. I have a client that only had about like 3 more years left, and we were able to get her an additional 20 more years to cover the existing mortgage. So many different things. It's customized for your needs. It's not like, oh, well, what's general, or what should I get? That does not exist, guys. There's no what should I get. It's what are your financials? What do you want to leave? And let's take a look at you and your household. There's nothing else that matters, your neighbors, what the standard or normal thing is. Normal comes down to what is it that we're doing. And I just really quickly swung over, and yes, the death benefit is a tax-free to your beneficiaries, okay? It paid tax-free to the beneficiaries, best to set up a trust as well. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what Denzel Rodriguez does, but we can definitely connect. Let me see, Roberta. It says, the peace of mind of having life insurance is priceless. I've had it with Eva and I have zero regrets. Hashtag thankful. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Again, this is her sharing her story. I didn't say she was my client until she said it. So, and we had a real talk with her, right, Roberta? We had a conversation. She's like, you know, I believe it, but like, I don't know where to get started. And just because your girlfriend may have a different policy, or it could be with the same company, that doesn't mean it's the same. There's times where they tweak them a little bit. Things get approved in California. You know, the Department of Insurance definitely takes a look at things get approved. In 2015, different things came out. 2016, different things came out. All of these different things that came about. And so these plans change. And some of them for the better, and some of them just get terminated. I know older term policies that were good at the time, they're actually better ones now. So for that reason, if you're in your early 20s, great. If you're not in your early 20s and you're like, no, I'm in my mid 40s or mid 50s, come see me. Don't think and don't have the myth that just because you're in your 40s or 50, it's too late for you. That is complete BS, lie. Don't do it. Don't lie to yourself. I always say seek a professional, hint, 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 so that this way we can better assess your situation. I don't do trusts, but I do have a lot of resources. I do have trust attorneys that I work with that I can highly recommend. And when I do recommendations, I'm straight like, I don't get kickbacks. I don't get any of that stuff. I want my clients to be taken care of. I want to continuously be a resource to my community, to my clients, to my network, to make their lives better, enhance their everything. So again, I highly, highly encourage that you guys definitely take the opportunity of coming out, seeing me. My website is evamacias.com. The link is in my bio. You guys can make an appointment. It's super free. If you already have a policy, you're more than welcome to get a second opinion with me and see where you're at. Just because I have had clients where they walked in my door and I'm like, you know what, you're in some really great stuff. Don't let anybody move them. You're in great stuff, and blessings to you. And then there are other things where I'm like, look, you could have the exact same thing for maybe $5, $10 cheaper. It's up to you, maybe more longer term. So at the end of the day, I tell people this: be attached to the results of what it's going to create for your family. There's tons of life insurance companies. There's not just like one is better than others. There's lots of them, but some do a lot more. Some focus on like the elderly, some focus on different like demographics, you could say. And so just because I've been in the industry for quite some time and I've seen lots of clients, like lots of them, I can tell you that I more or less know what company would approve who, what company wouldn't approve so. And again, you apply for it, worst case scenario, they say no, you didn't have it anyways, but at least we tried. So Sandra, you're thinking about getting life insurance. I'm going to shift that to, instead of thinking about it, after Wealthy Wednesday ends, I would love for you to go on my website, evamacias.com, and make an appointment with me. I would love to connect with you and possibly earn your business, but more importantly, continue to provide value to you personally. Ayuda en Español just put, yes, we had prior policies and ended up getting better coverage. I know Ayuda en Español, you know, for those that don't know, she's been a client of mine forever. You know, when we recently went over her life insurance policy, she's like, really? And she was even surprised at the type of policy she had. So yeah, there's great stuff out there. And I want our community to be able to have the tools to continue to provide really value to your family. And don't underestimate the power of life insurances and what they can do. Every financial plan, the number one foundation is life insurance, okay? How we transfer wealth, the easiest way to transfer wealth, not the easiest, but for example, knock on wood, if I die today, my family gets a transfer of wealth. And what better way to transfer wealth saying, hey, I love you. A life insurance policy is an I love you policy. I cared enough about you when I was alive. I'm going to care enough about you when I'm no longer here because I'm still watching over you. So when you buy life insurance, you're buying something that's going to be guaranteed to pay out to your beneficiaries. Now, I think I saw somebody put on here about how is the life insurance paid to beneficiaries in a check. You obviously have to file claims. You got to show proof that that the person passed. But it's like anything, just like you would file a claim if you got into a car accident, just like you'd file a claim if your house was on fire. You file a claim, you say this is what happened. I've seen many people collect large amounts of money. One that stands particular gentleman was ill, and he thought about his wife, left her, over $250,000. And I remember the day that she said, if it wasn't for this, I don't know where I'd be right now because I'm already in my 60s. And so that peace of mind, that little I can't even describe it, guys, that little the peace of mind that I see when someone says, I know I'm hurting, but this is totally it's so perfect timing at the same time. It's a beautiful thing. And I can't tell you that through social media or through Instagram Live or Facebook Live. What you see in someone's face when you know they're going to be financially okay because of a life insurance policy is priceless. Okay? And all the myths, we make that shit up. So don't believe the myths. Believe the things that empower you to continuously provide wealth to your family. So again, real quick, evamacias.com. Go check out my website. You guys can make an appointment. It's super easy. Or you can the link is in the bio on Instagram. It's a free consultation. Come by. Hey, I'm inquiring about life insurance after your Wealthy Wednesday. Can you give me some options? Absolutely. And we are booking appointments until after October 8th because we are booked and I will be out. So again, thank you for you guys' time, everything. We're very grateful. I believe we have 2 more weeks, but other than that, just life insurance awareness, and the goal is to just slam those myths, get the right information, and see how that applies to you and your family and how we can make it win for you guys. So again, I appreciate you guys, and I gotta go. Love you guys. Bye.
Good morning. Good morning.